it going, everybody? I'm the best that is, the best that was, the best that ever will be. There'll be none before me, and there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jay Covey, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with the news of the week, followed by your SmackDown and Raw review. I know we are going back to just regular Wrestling Made Simple. But anyway, we got the SmackDown Raw reviews, then a review of 2010's Money in the Bank, your drink of the week, a reading from the Book of Rules, and the Battle Droid of the Week. But let's get into the news right now. Is a huge title change being planned for SummerSlam 2023? Apparently so, as they're saying the Money in the Bank winner has been leaked, is supposed to be L.A. Knight. Yeah! I'm actually very excited for that. Is going to cash in on Seth Rollins at SummerSlam and become your new World Heavyweight Champion, leading to Seth Rollins having a chase for the title against L.A. Knight. Yeah, it really is hard to say it without saying his name and stop to not say that. But so Money in the Bank winner leaked. Has WWE reached a new deal with a new company? That is correct. WWE has reached a deal with Twitch. Twitch will see the return of an official WWE channel with popular WWE superstars featuring live and exclusive content, apparently. Shout out to WWE for this deal. This is awesome. I really hope that this leads to more wrestlers who enjoy gaming going back onto Twitch. We all enjoy gaming. It's a fun way to just get your head out of the clouds and just relax and forget about the world for a few minutes. So I'm very happy to see that they're really just allowing everyone to just enjoy what they do. And new ROH board of directors. Apparently, Stokely Hathaway and Jerry Lynn are your new members of the board. The new directors of the board. They will have matchmaking and ruling authority in ROH. So as you can see, some big stories this week. It's been a fun week in wrestling, so let's get into our SmackDown review, ladies and gentlemen. As SmackDown kicked off with a video package to show the 1,000-day reign of Roman Reigns. Awesome to see. Even CM Punk was shown as a 434-day reign as WWE Champion, so that's a little cool to see that they're including CM Punk. They're not burying him anymore in their history. They are allowing him to come forward as a former WWE champion, saying his name, enjoying life. So, yeah, that's very cool to see. We then get Austin Theory and Pretty Deadly versus the Brawling Brutes of Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland. Theory would pin Holland for the win. This is a very weird choice. I don't mind Theory picking up the win. Apparently, maybe we'll get more to the Sheamus Theory feud, but apparently they are planning to turn Butch heel and bring back the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne persona for him. I'm sure we would all be happy to have that going. We then get a backstage segment where Paul Heyman told Solo Sikoa he wants tonight to be special for Roman Reigns and to make sure the Usos are nowhere to be found. We then get the OC celebrating AJ Styles' 46th birthday in the backstage segment. I did not know AJ Styles was that old. Jesus Christ, that's actually... And he's still going as good as he's going in the ring. That's awesome for him, man. That's unbelievable. We then get Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson completing the burial of Hit Row as they were able to beat him pretty quickly. Top Dollar would hit Anderson with a big boot, which led to AJ Styles hitting a phenomenal forearm on Top Dollar. I don't know what to think of them coming back to the company. I think they would have been better on the independent circuit. I mean, they're making names for themselves, but they are definitely just considered jobbers now. That kind of pisses me off. We then get new Women's Champion Asuka appearing on the Grayson Waller Effect. Io Sky, Shotzi, Lacey Evans, Zelina Vega will all come out and talk about how they're going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. Asuka left the ring and proclaimed that no one's ready for Asuka. We then get Bianca Belair coming out and hitting the KOD on Asuka. And referees came out to separate a brawl between the two. You think Cameron Grimes talking to Adam Pearce about the next time Baron Corbin shows his face on SmackDown, he's going to take it out. Really cool starting feud for Cameron Grimes, and I'm very excited to see where he goes on the main roster. We then get Zelina Vega versus Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans was showing a new look, kind of looking like Sergeant Slaughter with a cobra on her hat. I really don't know what that hat is called. You think I would? This was very funny to see, and it actually made me laugh because when you think of Sergeant Slaughter, you think he is the first ever G.I. Joe. So for her to have the cobra clutch and the cobra on her hat really does make me laugh. I know Sergeant Slaughter's move was the cobra clutch, but at the same time, it's still funny to think about. We then get LA Knight versus Montez Ford in a very good match. LA Knight was able to pin Montez Ford and qualify for Money in the Bank. I am very happy to see this. This could be very cool for LA Knight. If the rumors turn out to be true and he is the next Mr. Money in the Bank, I couldn't be happier. That is a way to push him to the moon. We then get WWE Hall of Famer Triple H coming out in your main event segment to celebrate Roman Reigns. He would tell Roman Reigns, he says he is the guy that people will be telling their grandchildren about. He's done something that no one's really done for over almost 30 years. Or almost 40 years. Fuck. We then get a new Undisputed WWE Championship, Undisputed WWE Universal Championship in the ring. It was gold with more black inlay. That was cool to see. And it was actually, I forget who pointed out, I think it was Sean Ross, it might have been Wrestling News. They pointed out it is the same display table that The Rock used to debut his title when he came back to win the WWE Championship. So I thought that was a very cool thing. Roman Reigns had a new title put around his waist, and Jimmy and Jay came out. The Usos come out. Paul Heyman was pretty pissed that they interrupted him. Roman gave the order for Jay to kick Jimmy in the head. Neither of them did it, and they actually, for a second, looked like they persuaded Solo Sikoa to join their side. And as they hugged Roman Reigns and said, "We the bloodline, we're still together, right?" Roman Reigns says no, and immediately has Solo Sikoa hit Jimmy with a Samoan spike. They walk up the stage, and you hear Paul Heyman say, "My tribal chief, what about Jay?" Which actually made me laugh, just the way he said it. Just a, "What about Jay?" And Roman says Jay will fall in line. Now, I know Jay is apparently supposed to go with his brother, and this is supposed to lead to the Usos versus Roman and Solo at SummerSlam. I actually hope that doesn't happen. I would love to see a Jimmy and Jay feud and actually have these two brothers go at it. But that's how SmackDown went off the air. It was a cool SmackDown. I enjoyed it. And it leaves a lot of questions. Really does. But let's go to Raw. As Raw kicked off with your new World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins said he would host an open challenge to whoever wants to answer for the World Heavyweight Championship in your main event. And who else answers but Damian Priest? Seth said if he wants to answer, the Judgment Day must be left in the back and they could not interfere in this match. Damian agreed, and the match was made for later in the night in your main event. We then get Becky Lynch versus Sonya Deville to qualify for a Money in the Bank ladder match. Becky Lynch would win the match, but Trish Stratus and Zoe Starks would come out. This would almost cost Becky Lynch the match, but she was just able to pull out the win in the end. Becky Lynch is qualified for Money in the Bank. We then get your Intercontinental Champion Gunther versus Kevin Owens. This was a good match, a very good match, and I'm very... dropped my phone. I was very excited to see this match. Both of these guys fought very well and had great chemistry, so I could easily see this being a nice feud maybe later on in the year. Gunther was able to pick up the win. We then get Matt Riddle backstage saying he is tired of Gunther cheating to win, and that if Gunther wouldn't be IC champion if it wasn't for Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Ludwig and Giovanni confronted Riddle, and Riddle attacked them both. They actually said, like, they haven't seen this side of Riddle in a long time. You know, last time I saw this side of Riddle? Feuding with Seth Rollins. That is the last time I saw this side of Riddle. We then get Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler backstage, where they're confronted by Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. This would lead to a match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, and Ronda and Shayna would retain. Hard-fought match, though, actually. I was shocked. I thought this was going to be a squash, feeding to the Wolves match, but it wasn't. Kaden and Katana really showed fight. They showed that they could kick some ass if they needed to, and I could actually see them maybe as future women's champions. This is actually shocking. I didn't think this would happen. We think it's a possible dream match 4 years ago as Ricochet and Shinsuke Nakamura had a great match, but would unfortunately end in DQ as Bronson Reed would attack both of them, hitting a tsunami on Ricochet and hitting a splash on Shinsuke, and Bronson Reed stands tall. I hope Bronson does get added to the Money in the Bank ladder match. This guy's push has actually been going well, and I would say a lot of people have been questioning, like, what's the best Triple H rehire? I honestly think it's Bronson Reed right now. Bronson Reed has been pushed to the moon and has been doing great, so really happy about this. We then get Cody Rhodes on Miz TV. Miz informed Cody has a special guest, and that fucker, he teased that it was Randy Orton so bad. I don't know if Randy Orton's coming back to WWE or if he's retiring. I don't know. But this motherfucker got me. He got me. It's Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio comes out with Rhea Ripley. He called Cody a deadbeat dad, and Cody told Dom that he has a worse prison tattoo than he does. That was hilarious, because Cody Rhodes has made the joke about his tattoo, so I thought it was funny. Dom then slapped Cody Rhodes and left the ring, and this would actually lead to a former women's wrestler making a call out to Rhea Ripley, as Mommy called out Cody. Apparently, Brandy Rose calls out Rhea Ripley on Twitter. We'll see if that goes to anything. We haven't seen Brandy since she left AEW, so I would love to see Brandy Rose come out on WWE TV. We then get Zoe Starks versus Natalya for a Women's Money in the Bank ladder match qualifier. Zoe Starks would pick up the win over Natalya. I can't disagree with this booking. I loved it. Zoe Starks is in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and I can see this causing Becky Lynch to not win the match. We then get Indus Sher versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. This was a quick beatdown. Indus Sher would beat the living shit out of Cedric, and that was basically it. No match would happen between these two. And then we get your main event, Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest, in a hell of a match. Seth Rollins could pull a match out of my boot if he needed to. He is an amazing wrestler and pulled a great one out of Damian Priest. And don't get me wrong, Damian Priest, awesome wrestler as well. And Seth Rollins and him had some unbelievable chemistry in the rings. But I feel like Damian Priest usually finds that chemistry with people. There are some times where it doesn't work, like The Miz at Backlash. But Damian Priest had an awesome match here. And Finn Balor will actually interfere, which led to Damian Priest hinting at a face turn. But Seth Rollins would pick up the win, and Finn Balor confronted Rollins. I guess this is going to be your Money in the Bank match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I would love to see that. Seth Rollins and Finn had a stare down to end the show. This could be a fun feud. Seth Rollins would make jokes saying, at least my title reign will be longer than Finn Balor's, and whenever a Finn steps in the ring with me, it doesn't end well for him, as he poked Finn's shoulder. I thought that was hilarious. So Seth Rollins making jokes about Finn Balor. This is really going to be a great feud. Let's move on to Money in the Bank 2010. First ever Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Money in the Bank had been contested at WrestleMania every year before, and this was actually the first time there would be two Money in the Bank ladder matches. There would be a Raw Championship match and a SmackDown Championship match. So you would have the World Heavyweight Championship for SmackDown and the WWE Championship for Raw. There was a dark match between Santino Marella and William Regal? Huh. I'll be damned. 4-minute match won by Santino Marella? By pinfall? Okay then. We didn't get your first Money in the Bank ladder match, the Money in the Bank match for the World Heavyweight Championship contract. I gotta say, the one thing I miss about this is the blue and red suitcases. Blue and red briefcases. I loved those, and I thought they were awesome, and I always wish that they would go back to two Money in the Bank ladder matches so we could get these briefcases back. Like, that would be an easy thing for me to buy if I ever had the money. I would buy either Kane or Randy Orton's Money in the Bank contract briefcases. I would love to have the red and blue briefcases. This match would be won by Kane, but would feature talents like The Big Show, Christian, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Kofi Kingston, and Matt Hardy. All former world champions. I want to point that out. These guys would all be world champions sometime in their career. So, cool match when you think about it. Kane would win the match, and it would be a hard fought most of the time because the ladder was used for the Big Show because basically he couldn't get over any other ladder. And after being the Big Show at WrestleMania 38, I completely see why. The guy is fucking huge. Like, I'm 6'3", and I felt like a little kid talking to him, like looking up to him, like, yes, sir, whatever you need, sir. But Kane would win the match off of Big Show's ladder, which was over 300 pounds, apparently, and they had to special make it. Apparently, the ladder wasn't that heavy, but it was made to look that heavy. So, very cool ladder if you're looking for something. We then get Alicia Fox defending her WWE Divas Championship against Eve Torres. This was a 5-minute match. I think this would be the match of Stone Cold would actually be interviewing wrestling fans, and it would lead to him making a joke of, like, he would ask a girl, what's your favorite WWE match? And she goes, Alicia Fox versus Eve Torres. And all you see is him just stare at her, and she goes, I'm new to this. And he goes, really? That's your favorite match? And she goes, yeah, I'm new to being a fan. He goes, I've never apologized to Vince McMahon. I've only apologized to Vince McMahon once, and I want to apologize to him for this. Alicia Fox would pick up the win in probably your least memorable match of the night. We then get the Hart Dynasty of David Hart Smith and Tyson Kidd with Natalya versus Jimmy Uso versus the Usos with Jimmy and Jay and Tamina as their manager. Remember when Tamina managed the Usos? Yeah, that's definitely something fun. The Hart Dynasty would pick up the win here in a 5-minute match. Again, nothing to be remembered about this match. We then get Rey Mysterio versus Jack Swagger for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jack Swagger, before this, telling his mom to shut up on the phone. Apparently, Jack Swagger would be the one who they thought attacked The Undertaker, as The Undertaker was found comatose, basically before a World Heavyweight Championship match, leading to Rey Mysterio defending his title. Rey Mysterio would be champion and would go in to face Jack Swagger. So Kane would attack Jack Swagger, thinking he was the one who attacked The Undertaker. But turns out it wasn't. We'll get into that later. But Jack Swagger would leave his father to deal with Kane, and Kane would beat the shit out of his dad. His mom would call him worried, and he would tell his mom, shut up, I'm going to go win the world title. And would basically hang up and go to face Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio and him would have a good match, nothing great, against Jack Swagger in WWE. The guy wouldn't... I always truly believe the guy really didn't find his true footing until leaving WWE. Hey, that's like Cody Rhodes, though. That's what happens. Rey Mysterio would pick up the win after undoing his boot, just like Eddie Guerrero did at WrestleMania 20. When Jack Swagger locks in the ankle lock, Rey Mysterio rolls out of his boot, pins Jack Swagger. 1, 2, 3. Rey Mysterio retains, and then Jack Swagger goes to lock in the ankle lock, but Kane comes out for the save, beating the shit out of Jack Swagger. And as Jack Swagger goes backstage, Rey Mysterio's like, okay, I guess Kane isn't a bad... Oh, no, here's his music again. Kane would come in and cash in his World Heavyweight contract and would win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship with a chokeslam and a tombstone in 54 seconds. So Kane is your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. This is because Kane would actually switch his belief to it was Rey Mysterio who attacked The Undertaker. But Rey Mysterio would reveal it was Kane all along. Undertaker would return at SummerSlam in a casket. And he and Kane would feud over the World Heavyweight Championship inside Hell in a Cell. In a couple great matches that truly, for me, are underrated matches. I truly feel like this feud doesn't get the love it deserves. Anyway, so Kane would be your new World Heavyweight Champion, being the first person to cash in the same night as winning Money in the Bank. We then get Layla versus Kelly Kelly for the WWE Women's Champion. I forgot that this was a time, watching this pay-per-view, I completely forgot that this was a time where there were 2 women's championship match champions in the company. So I completely forgot that there were those. Layla would retain her title over Kelly Kelly in an okay match. Again, nothing to write home about. This was women's wrestling in, unfortunately, the early 10s. So you wouldn't get much focus on it. You would get 3 or 5 minute matches at most, unfortunately. We then get your Money in the Bank ladder match for a WWE Championship contract, as it was The Miz, Chris Jericho, Edge, Evan Bourne, John Morrison, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, and Ted DiBiase. Again, a very cool lineup. They really went all out to make sure that people enjoyed this inaugural pay-per-view and make sure it was a success. I mean, from the opening shot of this pay-per-view where they were loading the Money in the Bank briefcases into basically safe deposit trucks, the armored trucks, I thought that was cool, to hang them above the ring. And again, just the red and the blue briefcases, I truly believe those are a million times better than the gold and the green and the women's briefcases we have now, and way better than what we had before at the WrestleManias. I know people really like the custom ones that people came out with, like Edge, I believe, had the custom one. You would have RVD have his. RVD would basically be the first one to call himself Mr. Money in the Bank. You would have Mr. Kennedy have his custom one, which was then won by Edge. CM Punk wouldn't really have any custom ones. I know he did have the custom Chicago one, I believe. And then you would have Jack Swagger, who basically just had the briefcase for 2 days and then cashed it in. So there was a need for him to have the custom one, and then you would have these. And then you would have a custom one for another year until it was, I'm trying to remember, Damian Sandow would have his custom one, which was the brown leather one. And then you wouldn't have a custom one until Brock Lesnar, basically, with his boombox. And that was the last real custom Money in the Bank contract briefcase. So you wouldn't see custom briefcases really after this. And you know what? I was fine with that. The briefcase isn't supposed to be a custom briefcase. It's supposed to be what you use just to carry everything. Or be those that were damaged. And that's why I like Kane and Randy Orton's. Everyone else would use them as weapons and everything. But I always loved Kane and Randy Orton's because they were just pristine. Because Kane basically had for an hour. And Randy Orton just never really did anything with it till SummerSlam. Anyway, The Miz would win this Money in the Bank contract, and he would actually cut a promo. I feel like he cut the promo because they were running a little low on time, or they had too much time left. And The Miz would say, winning this and it's become synonymous with the Money in the Bank ladder match. Winning this Money in the Bank contract means I've made it. And that line is awesome. You would have The Miz cut the promo, and then they would go to the WWE Championship match inside of a steel cage. Now, the reason this was inside of a steel cage was because it was John Cena and Sheamus who had been feuding with the Nexus, both of them. And the Nexus would get involved in this match and would actually cost John Cena the WWE Championship, as the referee wouldn't see Sheamus tap out to the STF. Sheamus would escape as Nexus holds John Cena in the cage. Even though you would then have Sheamus lose the title to, I believe, Randy Orton, it would lead to Sheamus actually turning face because of this match and helping John Cena in his war against the Nexus. So that was actually cool. This really led to the first real Sheamus face turn. Sheamus would retain his WWE Championship, as I said, and this was a great inaugural pay-per-view. Looking back on it, besides the women's matches and a tag team championship match, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. It was fun. The cash-in by Kane is awesome. And Kane really becoming World Heavyweight Champion is why I picked this pay-per-view to review, because I always loved Kane as a champion. I felt he deserved it in his WWE title run. Forgetting what he's doing now in politics and everything, I always loved Kane as a wrestler. So him winning the contract after so many years of being in the WrestleMania matches to finally picking up the win here and becoming World Heavyweight Champion is awesome to me. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it a B- because of the 3 other matches. But besides that, this is just an awesome pay-per-view and a great inaugural way to introduce your friends to the Money in the Bank concept, in my opinion. Oh, I could use a drink. And sticking with green, and because we're gonna be skipping a step to Ireland for Money in the Bank, basically, it's gonna take place in London, I could go for green beer. So you know how to make a green beer? It's very easy. All you need is one light beer and green food coloring. You just take the beer, pour it into a glass, do a couple drops of the green food coloring, not a lot, just a couple, and then stir, and there you have it, a green beer for your green Money in the Bank. And now we're reading from the Book of Rules. Items on the line during the ladder match. Bag containing $100,000. Kurt's gold medals. Child custody papers. Contract on a clipboard. And a sledgehammer. And that was a reading from the Book of Rules. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Battle Droid of the Week. The Battle Droid of the Week this week is Lacey Evans. Basically been off TV so long I completely forgot she was even still with the company. And then comes back and has an okay, basically bad match. Like Zelina Vega felt like she was carrying her during this match, if I give my own opinion. But that's my opinion on it. It's nothing too big. So this week, I'm sure Lacey Evans shall find her footing sometime. But for this week, Lacey Evans, you are the Battle Droid of the Week. Congratulations.
Uh-oh.
Thank you very much for listening. I have been the Big Guy. This has been Wrestling Made Simple. Next week, we'll keep the Money in the Bank pay-per-view reviews rolling, and we will keep the green drinks rolling. So thank you very much for listening. Have a great week in wrestling, and enjoy what's to come.